everyone, it's Lolly. We are in day one of the showroom floor of Creativation. This is our first booth that we're visiting today. I'm here with Julie, and she's behind the camera. We are at the Artesprix booth, and we have two lovely assistants, Ashley and Erin. You can see on their name tags there. They're going to show us something new that they're just releasing now.
So these are our brand new sublimation coloring books. So prior to having the coloring books, if you wanted to have this design in black ink, you would have a sun stamp and use a sublimation stamp pad. So what we did is we took a sublimation printer and we printed out pre-designs that all you have to do is color it in with the markers, or you can watercolor with the inks. And this is just plain copy paper. So it's easily, slide binder. We kept it real simple because you're just going to take it apart anyway to color them in with your sublimation inks, and then you can transfer them to different objects and they'll be lifetime permanent. That's the kicker is
Wow.
the sustainability. You will have this project forever.
Love it, and all these colors. I can see this is my palette right here. That's me. Of course, I do love bold.
So Erin actually designed a coloring book for us, and forgive me because it's in the new product showcase. So I don't have a full one with me right now. I have to find one. I don't. It's somewhere underneath here.
This is one of the designs.
This is one of the designs, though. So actually, if you maybe Lolly will do a tour of the new product showcase at some point. But this was a full page design that we cut into 4. So today what's going to happen is people can come up and they can choose from Erin's design here, or one of the other ones that we created a little on theme here with the mountains for Seattle, of course. And then all they have to do is come over here, color it in with the markers, and then we're going to transfer it to the keychain and they can sport it all show long.
Okay, way to go, Erin. So this is one of yours, huh?
Yes.
So basically, we're looking at how big of an area to even color, right?
So it's up to you. So wherever
Yeah.
you want to put it, so let's say you want to have this flower. And
Yeah.
it can be like a crossover from here to here, and then you just can trace it.
Okay.
Or you can color as much as you want, and then you can play around. I would
That's
suggest
true.
tracing it to give you an idea of how much to color or not
Okay.
to color, unless you just really feel like
And the
coloring.
pencil won't transfer.
Pencil does not transfer. That's the beautiful
Good
thing about
question.
that. So use pencil and not pen, because
Okay.
it will not transfer. So where do you want that?
Okay. I'm thinking.
Ta-da!
And then just pick your palette. So we obviously have our more pastel tones. We have our bold tones. What are we calling those?
Yeah, you're right. Bold. Yep. Basics.
And then basics.
That's exactly right. She's got it.
I got it down.
You got it.
I want to make sure I was using the right name, Dacular.
You got it. And you'll notice that the color on the paper looks muted, different than the cap that Lolly has in her hand, or the end of the marker. So this is the before color, and that's the same as a sublimation printer. If you were to look at a sublimation printer printout, you might say this is muted or dull, but once you press it with heat and pressure, it comes to life. So that's the best part, is watching it, is the wow moment. I've been doing this for a long time, and I never get tired of that wow moment. So once Lolly colors it in, there's no treating it or anything like that. Once it's dry, we're gonna transfer, and these are the markers, so it's not like the paint where we really have to wait for it to dry. But of course, if you add a little color lay down, you want to make sure that it's nice and ready to go.
And I've even taken the markers and put them on a palette, wet them, and used them as a watercolor. So it's gorgeous.
Just be an extra now.
I'll just this little extra. It's
Well, before Erin, we didn't have paints. She's been with us for a long time, and so that's how the paints were born. Is people were taking the markers and the ink pads, and they were putting their water brushes in, or coloring on an acrylic block or a
gel plate or something.
Yeah, exactly. Spritzing it with some water and creating a watercolor effect with the markers. No, it's also nice that the markers are chisel tip, so you can get that made it easier.
Yeah,
that was easier to get that color lay down.
Absolutely.
So this green is going to be a part of the wow moment. It does not look very exciting.
It's kind of like, oh, there's that much happening. Oh, yes, there is.
It almost is a gray
Yeah.
tone to it.
And it's not.
It's part of the science magic. You guys be the deciding factor in that and decide. Storage for the markers is really important. So we have the markers stored tip down right now because they've been lying flat for about a month. We came from another event, so they've just been hanging out in our palette for a month. So we haven't used these before. They're tipped down. Some of them look pretty juicy, so they might not need to be tipped down, right? And we might put them flat. So you can actually, maneuver the color a little bit depending on what you want. So let's say you really like the bold colors, but you don't want them to be juicy. Put them tip up for a little bit. Let the ink go down to the bottom, and then when you go to do the coloring, it might not be so
in your
bold.
face.
Yeah, bold. So
If I may be so bold.
Okay, how many times can we say bold?
yes. Okay, Lolly, may I give you a little tidbit? And I know you just
Yes.
finished putting everything, but let's go outside the lines just a
Okay.
little bit more. Set ourselves up for success because we're gonna tape that
And then-
keychain.
Right.
We're gonna tape that keychain, and so just in case we don't line it up just right, it's no big deal.
There
It
you
does
go.
look rather gray. Do I cut that out at all?
Nope.
Like around it?
Oh, we can, and we're gonna do like a quick little. Do you want me to do it, or do you want to do it?
No, just leave it.
You want to leave it
It's
like that?
okay. It's okay. I know unless somebody's like, I want to take that home and use it for another project.
Alright,
It's okay.
alright.
It kind of gives them an idea of how
And I
it
guess the
works.
hole should go up here.
You want the hole up there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it doesn't matter on this particular blank which side we're putting it on because they are both sublimation friendly. And so we can do a print on one side, and if somebody was really like working at it, we could end up doing and flip and do the other one. But we're gonna do the one, right?
Out of curiosity,
Yep.
let's say, and
you want
let's
this
just
one?
say this paper was even bigger or whatever. Could you just fold it over and do both at once?
We do not recommend that.
Okay.
And we'll show you why when we press.
Okay.
Because we want the heat to go from the top to the bottom. Otherwise, you'd be asking the heat to go
I
through
didn't
the
know
blank.
if you had like a double.
There are some,
Okay.
but for the rule of thumb, as far as beginner sublimation, I'm just going to
Okay.
stick with that's a.
Alrighty.
The rule of thumb is to press once, let it cool, and then press again.
Okay.
This is the magic tape that makes all the magic happen because you want to have a tape that's not going to melt, it's not going to bleed, it's not going to cause color on anything. So this is a special, not like a heat resistant tape that's going to work perfectly for this. I'm a two taper kind of person. Some people go a little overboard on the tape. I would not just do one side because then it would shimmy and shake. Right now it feels very nice and secure. And then we have our magic protective paper, which comes in these beautiful rolls.
Alrighty.
They're gorgeous and they're nice. There's a lot in there. You need a good protective paper. It is not wax paper. It is not just your parchment paper out of your pantry. It is something that is, again, made for heat, so it will not have any problems, and you could reuse it as long as it does not have color on it. As soon as it gets color, you don't want to use it anymore because then you might transfer that color to the next sublimation print.
A ghost print.
You're going to get a ghost print, exactly. So we're going
It just
to.
happens to fit in a Reynolds wrap.
So we're just, making it, it's upcycling, repurposing to the best.
That's right.
And again, we don't have to make this look perfect. So we're gonna make our sublimation sandwich. That is the best phrase that you have ever come up with because it makes them a taco.
Yes.
It works.
This is quesadilla.
But we understand because you want to have your paper on the bottom because we don't want to transfer anything to our heat press from the bottom. We don't want to transfer anything to the heat press from the top. So this is where we want. And the key thing is we're not going to heat from this side. So this is why we don't want to do both sides because you have to go through that top to get to the bottom. So your heat is getting lost as it's going through. So when we're going to heat press it, we're going to heat press directly close to the coloring that you did to get onto that sublimation. Whatever blank you
You're
are
just
using.
in time for the best part.
This is the magic wow. All right, here we go. So we're gonna pop this baby in.
So these are set for, go for it.
Yeah.
These are set for 400 degrees for 60 seconds.
There
And
we go.
then,
We're gonna have some oomph in there.
yeah, I should probably, maybe it was because the last one was a little thinner. But
These are made by Craft Express.
yes, we're in
The
crafty
wow, right over there.
Yes. And so once it's done, of course it's going to be hot because this was 400 degrees, and I got to grab my gloves because safety first. But
Oh.
it's fine. I'll
We'll get.
do as I say, not as I do. Right? It's okay. Yeah, caution hot. And so this is our project mat. These were originally designed to be used with the handheld presses because the mats that are sold with the handheld presses are designed for heat transfer vinyl, which is really like 315, 10 to 15 seconds, light pressure. We're doing heavy pressure, 400 degrees, up to 90 seconds, sometimes 120 seconds. So we don't want to put a scorch mark on those mats that aren't designed for that high heat and for that extended period of time. So this is our project mat. You only buy one, you never need another one. And so we like to use them as our cool down area. So especially if you were having like a metal blank that's like really hot, you want to protect that work surface. Let's say you have a table with some type of coating, you would need that.
Thank you. I'm like, I don't want to break it.
60 seconds later.
Seconds
we already
later.
had this
Dee, 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 dee.
in time.
So you can see why we did that. Otherwise, your beautiful flowers would have been on the iron just for somebody else's project. So we're going to do something called the peak test, where we just lift back a piece of the paper and we
FYI, usually use gloves.
Yes, I have a nail. That's my tool. Okay, and there you go. And so it is hot, so we'll just wait for it to cool down, and that is lifetime permanent. It'll never fade, crack, or peel. It becomes one with the object. Ta-da!
So now here's the hard part.
And I color outside the lines.
Ribbon are you going to go? And these are all sublimated ribbons.
Oh.
So ribbon,
Nice.
ribbon is polyester, 9 times out of 10, right? And so this is just some simple white grosgrain ribbon, and all we did was paint ombre pieces of paper with the sublimation acrylic paint to create our custom ribbon.
And then
Holding
you
them.
press it. Oh, did you catch that?
So I was.
No, it's okay. So we painted a full sheet ombre with our sublimation acrylic paint, and then we just took all the ribbon and just laid it down, taped it, and then pressed it.
So if you're not wanting the ribbon, there's also another option is where you can have it be like a full keychain.
Yeah, I would like to have.
You want this one? Okay.
Yeah.
Want me to attach?
You know what? Can we just put that in there instead of the ribbon?
Yeah, of course.
Let's do that.
Yeah. Now, if you want, now the rule is though, if you think you're going to come back to do the other side,
Don't do that.
Because
Yeah.
once you put this on, it's a
I popped it off.
It's you might break a nail. It's a high-end keychain moment. Like this is a very nice thing. You're not going to break your nails putting it together, but you're going to break your nails taking it off.
I had to use
Miss
a
Lolly,
tool.
so if you think you want to come back and maybe try the paint later, okay. So the best way to do it is to put the key tab down, put the key ring over it, and then just snap it in. And of course, you can hold it like this because the ring's not hot. So you can go ahead and grab it by the ring.
Her hands are a little desensitized to heat.
They are.
And there you go.
Look how vibrant that green turned out. Yes,
Now,
it
how
is
many
still very
colors
warm.
of markers do you have currently?
We have 30 colors, and in 10 of those colors, it's available in 2 types of nibs. And today is the first day you can buy them in singles ever in the history of Artesprix for $2 a piece. So let's say you really want to try this, but you just want to get your feet wet. You can literally just pick 3 colors, maybe some keychains, and you can try this all for, very reasonable price. So head on over to irononinc.com and check out all the new stuff that we have launching today. Erin's coloring book is there. We also have, all the other coloring book themes available.
Were the markers available before, or is this new?
They were, but they were not available in singles. And I know that is what you guys love.
Because then it's open stock.
Exactly.
Now, do you want to see what's new
Oh, yeah.
besides the coloring books? Is it
Sure. Okay.
the
Go
So
ahead.
here we have all of our markers, and yes, we can get them in singles, but we can also get them in packs of 10. So kind of how we had them on the palettes where we had the bolds, the basics, and the lighter colors. We also have the iron-on inks in an ink pad, so now you could stamp, but my favorite thing is ink blending. So you can take the ink blending and do it with
okay.
stencils, and you can have all kinds of fun. On your Gel Plus, you can swipe it, you can do all kinds of crazy things. And we had the ink refills for the longest time in nice little bottles, and I can watercolor with this. I can do all kinds of cool art with this. And so we were realizing how many people were just utilizing the bottle, but it's small. So now you have a 2-ounce size in all of the colors.
Nice.
And so this is definitely made for, yes, you could also refill it, but you're made to use this as art, which is amazing. And it comes in all of the colors that you see here, and they are printed on the front. So of course I grabbed the non-prettiest color, so I'm gonna grab a better color. You need to have all the colors, but yes. And they are all mixable. So just like if you're thinking with paints, or just like if you're thinking watercolors, you can blend to make all new colors.
So I have a question about the stamps. So normally when you stamp, your stamp is backwards. You ink it up, and then it's forward when you stamp it. But with sublimation, aren't the stamps
Right.
they're oriented a different way?
So when you're looking at your image, if you're thinking of a word, you want to look through the paper, and if you can read it when you're looking from the back side of the paper, then you have it correctly. So if I wrote my name on the front side and just did it with a marker, put it on there, it would be completely backwards. Right. So you want to take a pencil if you're going to handwrite something. So it doesn't matter if it's an image, it matters when you're talking about words, and that's where it makes kind of a thing. So all of these printed ones that we have, if we have alphabets, they're already flipped the right way for you. All of the words we have on all of the coloring books are already flipped the correct
So
direction.
you can't just grab your sentiment stamps.
Yeah.
You've got to use the ones for sublimation.
So we do have, some basic words here, and we have also a stencil where but stencils are easy because you just got to flip the stencil over. Right. That's the nice part about stencils.
Right.
But stamps, yeah, you have to have everything flipped the other way. So we do have some reverse stamps for you, which is great.
Cool.
And then on top of that, there's more. It's on the other side. Not only do we have the inks, but we also have the full line of paints. So you can play in so many different ways. We have the inks, we have the markers, and we have the paint. And the paint is so fun to use. It's just like anything that you would want to paint. If you want to do a beautiful work of art and then put that on your shirt, you now have the capability, because it is a beautiful paint that you can water down, and you don't want to add your basic craft paint or gouache or anything else. You want to use this paint because it is a special sublimation friendly paint, made specifically for sublimation.
Right.
So you cannot just go grab any paint and go, I'm going to sublimate that. You have to use this particular paint.
And on a shirt, what fabric, what material does it need to be to sublimate on?
So polyester is your friend. That is what you want to use the most of. But if you have a little bit of a blend, if it's got like I would say 50-50 is the least you want to go on that. So if you have a 50 cotton, 50 poly, you can get away with that. But the higher the polyester count, the more vibrant, because that's what all the molecules, when you're doing that magic of the science from the sublimation and it's transferring, it's wanting to stick to the polyester. It's not going to stick to the cotton. But, cotton's kind of a little bit nice, so. But you can get away with a little bit of a blend.
And so, sublimated tumblers, you could still use these project on those sublimation blanks as well. You just have to have the right heat source. You have to have a wrap, the heat thing that from Craft Express that does tumblers.
The tumbler press. There are specific presses for different things. Yeah,
Craft Express has one. Yeah,
absolutely. So you cannot just go any blank from the dollar store, because not everything like I can go get a coaster from so and so, or I can go grab that keychain, or that's the cutest mug ever. It looks white. You're like, I can do that. If it doesn't have that poly coating on it, it is not going to take your sublimation image.
And you wasted your time. But sublimation blanks are so prolific; they're everywhere.
Yes.
So you can find them.
But there is a quality difference in some of those sublimation blanks, and there's some that are not so good. So go with a good quality brand. Go with the Artesprix brand, Craft Express brand. You are getting an amazing blank.
It's so true, because both Craft Express and Artesprix know that so many are experiencing sublimation for the first time with our products. And with sublimation, there's a lot that goes into it. Like, we had the markers, then we had heat tape, pressure, temperature to think about, and then the blank. So I don't want them to have an inexpensive blank and then think it was the markers or the heat or the pressure when really it was the blank. So just like anything else in life, the better the tool, the better the result. But there's thousands and thousands of blanks under the sun. Not everybody carries them all. So as you said, it's endless, really.
So I was thinking there's other things that just beyond. People could say, okay, I can only make so many keychains. Yeah, but there are other.
And my favorite blank these days is ribbon. I swear, I just like the big bows are in.
There's earrings. There's sublimation.
I have to put my earrings in. I haven't even put them in yet.
They're really, truly, it's sky's the limit of what kind of blank you can use. There's so many things.
Actually, thank you. Reminded me. I need to wear these. Put these on. So these are our sublimation charms.
That's cute. Cake and ice cream. That is so cute. Well, thank you so much. That was very informative. Love it. Look at that. Look at how that green really did turn out. We didn't go, wow, but the colors really pop. Very cute. That is the wow moment. Very pretty. I'm glad I chose the different colors.